Warning. The following video contains strong language that some viewers may find offensive or disturbing.
What's the scariest space fact, mystery in your opinion? Here's one closer to home. The Kessler Effect is the theory that a single destructive event in low Earth orbit could create a cascade where satellites break up into tiny fragments, taking out other satellites, breaking up into smaller fragments, and so on, until the Earth is completely surrounded by a massive cloud of tiny flying death shrapnel, which would make leaving this planet almost impossible. If you look up how much space debris there is already up there and how many satellites currently orbit, plus the continued growth of the commercial space industry, I think about it a lot. Ever gone on a road trip and hit a patch where you're just driving for hours and you don't see anything exciting? I've experienced this in Australia, Canada and USA. All very large countries. Imagine doing that for years traveling to another planet. Gamma ray bursts. We could be hit by one of these with very little warning. And if it was reasonably close, in universal terms anyway, could wipe us out rapidly or cause a ton of damage. Dark matter, dark energy. The fact that about 95% of the universe is made up of matter we can't see or detect is pretty unsettling to think about. Also, while not a fact per se, I like to think that perhaps the answer to the Fermi paradox is that there are billions of advanced alien life forms out there, but they are physically unable to reach us due to technological limitations. Perhaps interstellar transport is only theoretical, and any aliens capable of reaching us are unable to do so in an acceptable length of time. Proxima Centauri may take 25 years for unmanned spacecraft to reach us, going 20% the speed of light. But perhaps it's impossible to transport actual life at these speeds without dying. So advanced civilizations have realized the futility of trying to contact other species and have simply given up. There is literally no end to the universe. No matter how long we study it, there will always be stuff that we will never know just because of the vastness of space. Rogue planets, planets that do not follow any given orbit. They may have been in an orbit at one time, but now they refuse to play by the rules. They were most likely knocked out of their orbit by another body, and now they are set on doing the same. The Boötes void, an area of space where there should be 50,000 or so galaxies compared to other areas of the same size, but there's only about 60. Could just be empty space for some unknown reason. Or it could be an ever-expanding intergalactic empire using Dyson spheres. Also, I think it appears to be growing, but that could just be galaxies moving away from the void edit, so it turns out it's 2000 and obviously it's not gonna be aliens, but the theory is still cool AF. I can't accept the fact that there is no end in space. But if there is indeed an end, then what's beyond it? I'm stuck in absurdity. Edit. In the numerous answers I've received, the one that seems to come back the most is the universe is curved. You would end up back where you started. Seems fair enough. Then again, that wouldn't mean there is no limit. On the contrary, that would just mean we are trapped in, or on the surface of, a sphere. But there is still a limit to this sphere. So the question remains, what's beyond it? I think everything is terrifying about space. And I fucking love it. But one thing it scare me a lot. It's if space is infinite. Imagine what kind of gigantic monster can be in there. My favorite debate I've ever had with a friend is about gigantic space monsters. I argued that since space is infinite and we don't understand much about it, that there's a good chance that there's a gigantic space monster that's just a massive head that eats planets to live. We went back and forth for like 15 minutes. Edit. By the way, I won that debate. Since the universe is expanding and stars and galaxies are moving away from each other, it's possible that civilizations that spring up in the far future with lonely stars will see an empty sky. Their civilizations will grow and learn, but they will never know the universe that once was. We live in a spectacular time period where we can actually look back in time and see the early universe. Future civilizations won't have that luxury. They'll believe that the universe is, and always was, dark, dead, and empty, aside from their small island of light. With that in mind, you have to wonder what stellar phenomena may have populated the universe billions of years ago but are now too far away for us to ever detect. The sheer distance between things. It's scary and somewhat depressing. It often blows my mind when I look up at two stars that look super close together and realize they are probably just as far apart from each other as they are to us. What was before the Big Bang? I think it is just impossible for a human to comprehend pure nothing or infinity. I myself had a stroke at age 9 due to a ruptured vertebral artery and lost a third of my visual field. I can confirm that it is not black. A good analogy is it is like what you see behind your head. On the other hand, infinity is so large that if you spent your whole life writing a 1 then zeros on paper, that insane number would still be 0% of infinity. I just think there is no way to fully understand the universe and there never will be. This is why even ancient societies explained things with gods because they didn't understand how the reality we live in started, and I don't think we ever will. Not scary exactly. More unfortunate, if anything. But we'll probably never be able to properly communicate with alien species. Given the amount of distance between the planets of our solar system, I'd assume the distance to other universes and galaxies is too far to think about right now. If we receive and send a message right now, by the time we hear a reply back, we would probably be a completely different government and societal system. We would just be constantly introducing ourselves. The fact that an asteroid could come at any time, and even though we have the technology to tell us that an asteroid is about to impact Earth, what can we really do about it? Nothing. We can do nothing. We can just sit here, with the media stations telling us what will happen, telling our friends and loved ones goodbye, praying, etc. It sucks. Why do we have the technology that tells us our inevitable doom as days, or even moments, away but no technology to possibly stop it? Edit, words. I mean, I feel like we'd figure something out real quick if we had at least a week. Yeah, it could end up just being throw a bunch of rockets at it until all the impacts change its course. But that's still worth a try. Depending on the size of the asteroid, it could barely work or directly not at all. Though it is unlikely to happen. We have a lot of stuff that's better than us at catching asteroids, Jupiter and the Moon. The Great Attractor is kinda ominous. There's an exoplanet with wind that's many times the speed of sound and that rains glass. Another exoplanet that has spent time inside its star. There's a sort of fear that we aren't alone in the universe. Chances are anything we meet won't have remotely similar emotional spectrums that we have. Then there's the horrifying notion that we are alone in that infinite blackness. That we're just a fluke of chemistry that will probably never happen again. Edit, more people have died on Earth than have died on the Sun. Spook. There's a region of space where the ever-present cosmic radiation from the Big Bang is missing. The radiation is everywhere as space except this area there's none. A fact from a show I used to like, the main problem is pressure. There isn't any, so, don't hold your breath or your lungs will explode. Blood vessels rupture. Exposed areas swell. Fun fact. The boiling temperature of water is much lower in a vacuum, which means that your sweat and your saliva will boil, as will the fluid around your eyes. You won't notice any of this because 15 seconds in, you've passed out as oxygen bubbles formed in your blood. And 90 seconds in, you're dead. The time-gravity relationship. It freaks me out. Oh boy. You have no idea just how crazy that can get. Namely, in black holes. Theoretically, if you were to enter a black hole with a large enough volume, you could actually pass through the event horizon without being crushed. The insane thing about this is what you would experience. As you're going further into the black hole, it would bend around you, and the universe would appear to be a bright bluish sphere behind you, getting smaller as the light waves get more and more compressed. Blue shifting the light. Now here's the crazy part. At the singularity of the black hole, the gravity is so intense that time is at a standstill. Now, theoretically, at this point, you could look behind you at the universe as hundreds, thousands, or even millions of years pass in seconds. If it's strong enough, you could even look behind you as trillions of years pass and the entire universe dies right before your eyes. That's pretty insane. Strange matter. It might not exist at all. But some scientists believe it's what's inside neutron stars. If this is true, neutron stars can collide and send strange matter particles flying through space. It's also theorized that strange matter might turn everything it touches into strange matter. If that's true, any microscopic amount of strange matter that touches our atmosphere would quickly turn Earth and everything on it into strange matter, destroying all life and nearly every remnant of civilization. And there wouldn't be a damn thing we could do about it. Again, this is all theoretical. Strange matter might not have such a massive effect. And indeed it might not exist at all. But there is a non-zero chance that an undetectable, microscopic particle is flying toward Earth ready to eradicate everyone and everything. Space is big, more than people can easily grasp. I absolutely believe other intelligent life exists. I absolutely believe Earth-like planets with orbits in their star's habitable zone and liquid water exist. And I absolutely believe that with enough time humanity will confirm the existence of both. I also believe manned spacecraft will never leave our solar system. The time and energy required just to reach orbit is massive. The resources necessary to keep a person alive in space are huge. Landing people on Mars is already viewed as a one-way trip. And at its nearest pass it's roughly 34 million miles from Earth. Voyager 1 has been traveling for 42 years and 9 months. It is just shy of 150 astronomical units, or mean distance of the Earth from the Sun, from home. Or nearly 14 billion miles. It is just past the heliosphere of our Sun. Or the point at which the Sun's solar wind no longer exerts enough influence to cast a bubble in the background interstellar radiation. This is considered interstellar space. As a frame of reference, the next star over Proxima Centauri is 268,770 astronomical units from our Sun, or 25 trillion miles. Unless some kind of Einstein-Rosen bridge type of wormhole exists that we can travel, we're not going anywhere. Someday, all the hydrogen will burn out. Trillions of years in the future. And there will be no activity or energy and everything will be so far apart that it will just be a cold dark wasteland with no life or light. If you were to instantly take off your spacesuit while floating in space, the side of your body facing the sun would cook while the other would freeze. Everything in just under a couple of seconds. It's quite possible, likely even, that we'll never leave this solar system. Because even getting up to a modest fraction of the speed of light, travel elsewhere just takes too damn long. Pretty much all science fiction handwaves this with jump drives and so on. But any kind of device like that would violate causality and is fairly unlikely to be possible. There could be life, but not in the way we think. Like a virus that our immune system simply can't take and we can't cure or make a vaccine for. This was actually thought of before. When the crew from Apollo 11 came back from the moon, they were quarantined for 3 weeks just in case they did have some kind of space virus. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification button. See you next time.